All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Pro Seller Talk Presents. I have Monica Busby, is that how you say it?
Yep.
Monica Busby here tonight with us. I'm excited. Funny story about Monica is I was just out in LA at the conference out there that Brett Bartlett and Jim Corcoran did, and she happened to be there, which I didn't know because I was in so much pain from going through a root canal failure that just killed me while I was out there for the 4 days. And it's just one of those things, guys. We always say when you're in the right places, you've got to network and you've got to meet these people out there. And now she's on my show, and I could have talked to her in person just last week and didn't even realize it because, like I said, I was in so much pain. Normally, I mingle and I get to network with a lot of people when I go to these things. This was the one time I just wanted to get through this thing and get home. So, long story short, lesson learned. You've got people right in front of you. You never know who's going to be there. And then you find out a week or so later they're on your show. It's kind of a funny thing. Hey, Monica, it's a pleasure having you here. I'm looking forward to the information that you're going to be sharing with us. I know Jenny Hunt just plugged you on my website saying that you got a lot of good content and information. So I'm excited what you share with us tonight.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and shout out to Ada for putting this together. I know she was on me, so with my busy schedule, I'm really glad that I was able to get all the information to you. So shout out to her for making things happen.
She's actually on here. I see her.
What up, Ada? Oh, there she goes.
Yeah.
Great job, Ada. Keep it up.
Yep. She's one of my moderators. She does a good job for us.
Wonderful. So do you want me to introduce my company or the topic, or how do you?
Well, the first thing you probably want to do is for the people that don't know you in my audience, you probably want to introduce yourself and say who you are and what what got you into what you're doing now.
Okay, well, my name's Monica Busby, and I started a company called eCommerce Kids 2 years ago with my now 14-year-old son, Jarrell. I think many of you probably know my backstory. I started homeschooling him in the 5th grade, and I've always been an entrepreneur since I was 18 years old from various businesses, not e-commerce related. And when I realized that, I need to teach him how to have business skills, and I think it'll help him once he gained those skills to help him in other areas of his life. And so business friends told me, hey, check out e-commerce. And I ran into Chris Green's arbitrage book 2 years ago, and I started stalking him. Hi, Chris. So as many of you know, when you hit Chris, you hit the Scanner Monkey group and the whole 9 yards, the whole can of worms come out, and you meet all kinds of amazing people like Jim Cockburn and his silent team. And I didn't realize there was a world out there that's just, to me, I was blown away by the love of the industry and the people that are wealthy, but yet are also wealthy in giving. And so that really caught my eye, and I realized, okay, this is something I really need to dive into. And after a couple of months, I nailed it down to like three steps for my son. And I gave him $120 to go to his favorite store at the time, Toys R Us, and he did his research. He bought about 6 toys and was able to sell that right away. And we reinvested for that 120 and the profits. And I believe in 3 months he hit about $3,300 in sales from that $120 investment. So it was exciting to me because, first of all, I was working 60 hours a week and the boy was only putting in 5 hours a week. And to me, the time blew me away. He was able to do that with less effort, not much stress. You're not dealing with a lot of people all the time. You're shopping. And he asked me this question. He's like, Mom, how come we're not teaching this to other kids my age? Because I think that we're going to need it for buying a car or going to college, and we could pay our college in cash. And I was like light bulb moment.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, this is a great moment to put together a business plan. And that's how eCommerce Kids was born. 2015, January. We just asked family and friends because, again, we were still newbies, e-commerce newbies at the time. And our first year, we served 70 families. And 19 of those families actually generated over $500,000 in sales their first year collectively as a group. So
That's awesome.
I was just blown away by just asking family and friends. This wasn't even like like officially legit business yet. So the following year, which is just last year, my kids now generated over $1 million in sales in Q4, the last
Wow.
Q4. So the results are there, and we're still doing simple steps, teaching them that one strategy and mastering that strategy. And now some of the advanced kids and their families are learning like the wholesale and the private label, and a couple of us are even into Shopify now. So long story short, we were able to build a 6-figure-a-month business on our Amazon business. And then now we have 6 offices on eCommerce Kids. We're launching in Dallas this month, end of this month. And we're also launching Bakersfield, California. So it's been such a blessing to be able to build wealth alongside my teenager, and also for him to see that the growth from the last 2 years, and being able to share that wealth among families in our community.
That's awesome. I mean, it's first of all, it's awesome for your son who's a teenager for a teenager to come by and, and recognize that, hey, we could be teaching this to other teenagers to help with college tuition and things like that. I mean, that mindset is just almost unheard of nowadays. But I don't think we give kids a lot of credit. I mean, like you said, you were working 60 hours and he did this in 5 hours, and he's probably looking at you like, why are you doing what you're doing when I'm doing this? And then how do you convince him to go out and get a real job? Not that a real job is not important, but how do you do that when he looks at you and say, hey, Mom, I've done this in 5 hours. You're not going to convince me.
I know, it's kind of scary. But yes, but we still gotta build that diligence, those good habits, because 5 hours was only the time. 5 hours to me delivered $3,300, right?
Right.
But if he wants to make more money, he does have to put in the hours to build that bigger paycheck.
And he's got to continue to reinvest it.
Reinvesting, yes. So we are doing more than 5 hours a week now, but in the beginning, that's how I saw the potential. But we're still, in a way, when I think about it, because we run 2 businesses, eCommerce Kids and our Amazon business, we're probably spending 15, 20 hours a week in our Amazon business, and it's building into a 6-figure a month. So to me, that's still unbelievable when it comes to time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I like the fact that I heard you say just a few minutes ago that you're not only teaching them to not put their eggs all in one basket like Amazon, you are branching out to other things like Shopify and hopefully Walmart and other things like that at some point in time. And by going to this conference, Sears and things like that, I think you're looking in the right direction of letting them know that you have to be diversified. You have to have multiple channels to be able to support you when one channel closes down or starts to restrict things on you. You got to make sure that you have other opportunities and other ventures that continue to hold you and keep you going forward.
And I'm always, digging into my kids' brains here all the time. It's like, we're e-commerce entrepreneurs, but we're also investors, because now that we're generating income, yes, we could reinvest it back, like you said, on Amazon or in other e-commerce marketplaces, but it's another opportunity for us to branch out and build more businesses, or get into the stock market, or maybe even buy real estate, because now we have the capital to do so. So e-commerce really just opens up a whole variety of ways to make money and grow in wealth all around. So we're excited.
So this company that you've developed with your son that you said you're opening up out in California too, how did you go about getting these other parts of the country to get involved with this and to come on board on what you're doing? And it's an awesome cause and awesome, adventure that you guys are doing. But how did you, and how do you coordinate that and keep it all in perspective and get them on the same page that you're doing?
Great question. I actually am very open. Our goal, our vision is really to teach this to every teen and preteen out there on earth. And so that's a big, big vision. And I definitely can't do it myself. So I look for seasoned e-commerce entrepreneurs that believe in the mission. And I would partner with them, and they would pretty much run an e-commerce kids office in their local community. They pretty much mimic what I'm doing over here.
Yeah, and that's great. And like what you just said too, when I bring people onto my show, I try to continue to bring people that are positive, that are leaders, that are out there in the community and making things happen, because I believe that you have to surround yourself with positive energy in order for you to go forward. We all have family and we all have friends that, let's face it, we all get into that rut where you tell your family and friends that I sell on Amazon and I sell online, and they look like, and you make money, they don't get the concept and how powerful the internet is. And it's a struggle at times, especially with family, to try to get them to come on board with what you're doing and understand that, it's a viable, not only a viable income, it's a viable way of retiring if you do it right. So,
oh my God, there's so much potential, and we're still in the first wave. I'm hearing just the first wave. We haven't peaked yet.
Oh no, it's like only about 5%, I think, of what's actually going to happen to the internet. That's why Walmart bought Jet, because they saw the writing on the wall and they had to get into the game with Amazon. I believe that they've got some great things planned to help compete with Amazon, and it should be good for all of us, because for the simple fact is that if Walmart's able to get up there and compete with them, then Amazon's going to have to be a little bit less restrictive on what they're doing, because they got competition, which they haven't had competition for the 10 plus years that they've been doing this. So it's good for someone else to come in and create that competition. I think Shopify, and I think there's going to be other platforms that open up as well. And as well as your own website. I think with private label products, you use Amazon as a platform and get it to your own website. It gives you a huge advantage.
Exactly. And I know Amazon do spoil us though, because when I started going in other marketplaces, it's a lot harder. And so Amazon has definitely made it much, much easier for us sellers to really grow. So hopefully the other marketplaces will become simpler as they grow as well. So
yeah, and I think Amazon has gotten easier than when I first started. When I first started, and we sell millions on Amazon too, but in private label. But when I first started, the entry point to Amazon was not as easy as it is now. Amazon basically at some points in times have already just, you put that you want to sell in a category and they approve you instantly. I remember clothing took 3 months to get approved in. So in Walmart right now, the thing I like about Walmart is Walmart's point of entry is not easy. It's a long process of application that you got to go through to get approved for it. What that does for us right now in its beginning entry is that it allows seasoned sellers like us to get on board. For the people that want to do the work to get on the platform, it's a great thing. For the people that don't want to do the work, it creates less competition because of the point of entry being that much harder. And I think that's a good thing. You want that point of entry. If you want to sell on a platform and they've got all these hard things that you got to get through, well, if you want it bad enough, you do it, and you do what you have to get on that platform. And that's the same thing with Amazon. When Amazon first was coming out and restricting these categories, and it's taken 3 months, the reason why people didn't get in clothing right away is because I'm not going to bother with that process. It takes too long to do it. And people just, become lazy and just decide that they don't want to do it, or they're too busy and they can't do it. No disrespect to them, but that's kind of what happened. And that's why Amazon for the longest time was a great platform and didn't get it saturated until they decided to open up all these other categories and make it a lot easier for you to get into them. Now, recently they've done the brand restrictions and have put prices on it to get in it. So they are backpedaling a little bit, and they really had to do that. And the reason they had to do that is because they're not building the facilities fast enough to take on all the Amazon sellers. So what happens is when you're not building your infrastructure quick enough, what do? You raise your prices so that you create, and you take your long-term storage fees and raise them in the fourth quarter, which is the busiest time of the year, to kind of restrict who can come in there and just store things. It makes sense for them. When they have an issue and they find a bottleneck in their system, they're always going to adjust. And how they adjust is just raise their prices and do things to help control their market. Like, they don't want people that are selling on Walmart and Jet to be storing things at their warehouse. They really don't. And they're going to put an end to it at a certain point in time, because it kind of makes sense. Why would you want Walmart, who bought Jet, to be storing things in the competition's warehouse? Why would Amazon want that? You know what I mean? So that's going to be some big changes that come up here probably in the near future. We all see it coming. It's just a matter of when. And one of the ways they're doing that is by keep raising their long-term storage fees. This year alone, in 2017, instead of just November and December, they've actually upped it to October now. October, November, December, they're going to have those long-term storage high fees. So they're making it more difficult for you to try to sell volume on there in the busiest time of the year, where Amazon knows just as well as we that in the fourth quarter, most Amazon sellers do about 70% of their business.
Yeah.
So that's why they raised it there. Otherwise, why wouldn't they raise it all year long? Because they know we need them more than they need us in that fourth quarter. So it's interesting.
And unfortunately, we're willing to pay for it, right? Because of what we're going to get back.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Well, you hope that your return is better than what you're paying them, especially with that. I can tell you that, we learned a lesson this past year because of those long-term storage fees. We ended up shelling out, I think, $25,000 in storage fees for November and December.
Ooh.
I mean, now we made the money and we were able to absorb that, but it would have been kind of nice to be able to call that as profit. And what happened is we projected our numbers from the year before in private label that we did. And what happened this year is that Amazon actually let counterfeit Chinese distributors jump on our listings. And yes, we did get them off, but it was a process. It wasn't like overnight. And anybody
They're still there.
Yeah, anybody knows in fourth quarter, if you don't get them off your listings within the first 2 days, your product starts to tank in rank, and it affects you, and you don't usually bounce back right away. And we took some tremendous hits in fourth quarter. We learned our lesson. And what we did is we retooled our model in private label this year, and we're doing very good with it. And we don't sell as much quantity, but our prices are much higher, so that we've offset it by the profits we're making. And
you must be selling wide too.
Yeah, and yes, we're selling wide, and we're also keeping the counterfeit Chinese distributors and manufacturers off of our radar, because they're not liking that we're selling 30 to 40 a day. They liked it when we were selling 300 a day. So they're going after those people and kind of staying off of what we're doing. So we kind of found that little hole, I guess, in the system that actually is a sweet spot for us, I would call it.
Nice. Slowly but surely.
and that's what you have to do with this business. You have to be able to, what was the word that Brett used at the conference we were just at in LA?
At the pivot.
Bounce, was it bounce? No, not bounce. It was jolt.
Adapt?
Is it jolt?
Jolt? Okay.
Yeah, you got to be able to jolt her. Sorry, Brett, if I can't remember that word, but I know it was something that he said, something like that, where, you know what, you don't just, bounce from one to another. You kind of jolt and go, forward. And that's kind of what you do. And you have to do in this kind of business. You got to be prepared for any kind of change at any given time. I ask,
this thing is so fast, so much movement all the time. Once you feel like you got the handle of things change. So
right.
For somebody that doesn't like change, this would be a really tough business for them.
Well, and I ask sellers all the time. One of the key things I ask them is if Amazon said tomorrow they're going to suspend you and not let you sell on there anymore, what would that do to your livelihood? And that's a wake-up call for a lot of people.
Not good.
because it's not good. But I don't want to. I don't want to take away from. This is your show. I'm just a host. I want you.
No
I'm not sure
problem.
what you. I'm not sure what you prepared for them, but I want you to continue to do what you're going to do with your presentation, and hopefully we start getting some questions here where
I
we
think
can.
I see a question. There's a one on the Q&A. Do I press that, or are you gonna
I got it.
look at
It
that?
says, "At what age can a young person sign up for your program?" That's from Ada.
I start with 9 and then 9 to 19 years old. But it just depends on the maturity of the kid. So I'm open to it if they're younger, but they have to will be able to sit, and not run around and go crazy. So it just depends. But that was my sweet spot on an age, is between 9 and 10. And they're simple tasks. It's not something that we're going to have them start a business and let them go on their own. But 9 and 10-year-olds do require support from the parents.
Okay.
Is that the only question?
That's the only one that I see so far. You want to
Awesome.
continue with what you have prepared, and
Yeah.
we'll just go from there. And guys, just pour your questions into the chat, and I will make sure that we get those over to Monica, and she's more than gracious here to answer them for us.
Okay, so our topic today is how e-commerce is the best business for our teen and preteen. I'm assuming people that are listening to this call have kids and want to know what to do with their kids instead of just letting them hang out and play video games. So for me, before I answer that topic, I want to study it a little bit, because when I talk to my kids, I'm like, okay, we need to spend some time studying wealthy people. So that's what we do at eCommerce Kids. When we do meet, we take time to study various wealthy people from all kinds of life, not just e-commerce or not just businesses. But so I'm going to share this screen a little bit, because I found this amazing article on e-commerce entrepreneurs. So hold on one second. Let's see if I could share screen. All right. All right. Can you guys see my phone?
I could see it.
All right. So this is from Business Insider last year, and I just thought this was really interesting. The 20 youngest self-made billionaires in the world. And let's take a look at Evan Spiegel, who was a founder of Snapchat. He's 25. Holy cow. Who uses Snapchat here? And I believe that Snapchat is really just growing, booming in the social media world. This guy is 25 years old. He's the youngest billionaire in the world. All right, let's look at another guy here. We got, okay, that's the same guy, $1.8 billion at 25. Wow. Now I'm curious what his parents did to teach him how to get there, right? Because he can't just be doing this by himself. So we got John Collison, I can't pronounce his name, last name there, who uses Stripe. $1 billion, he's 26. Then we have, let's see here. Okay, he's also part of Snapchat, Bob Murphy. And then we have another Stripe co-founder, young guys, our favorite, Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, $45 billion. And I believe he found Facebook during his college years. But we want to know what he did before that. And then we have this lady, Elizabeth Holmes, who's only 31, and she's the youngest female billionaire. A lot of them are in California. This is pretty interesting. And then another Facebook co-founder. Let's see, let's do a couple more here. Does anybody, maybe on the Snapchat, mention what do they have all in common right now? These billionaires. Wang Yu, 32, 1 billion, executive of 51.com.
Yeah, they're all billionaires.
Okay, that's one in common. They're all billionaires. What else? What do they have in common?
They're all young.
They're all young. Anything else?
They're all making me sick. No.
We got Cheng Wei, 32, $1 billion from China. He spent 8 years at e-commerce firm Alibaba. Okay, that's giving you a clue. Okay, what do they have in common? We got Nathan, 32. He founded Airbnb.com, co-founded Airbnb.com. All right, that's another clue. What do these guys have in common?
They all have internet-based type businesses.
Yes! I think all of them do.
Yeah,
this is unbelievable.
Yeah, they're all internet type businesses. And Ada just fell down when she saw all these billions.
Yeah, so I mean the list goes on and on.
I think the biggest thing is that they're young and they're driven.
They're young. Okay, so yes. So now going back to, I want to go back to a couple of these billionaires and just see what they were doing at a young age before they even went to college. Okay, let's see if we can. Let's look up Mark Zuckerberg, since everybody knows Facebook. Let's go find out Mark Zuckerberg here. Mark Zuckerberg. All right, let's look at his Wikipedia. These guys make me sick. Oh, they're so young. $55.9 billion as of February 2017. So let's look at what he was doing at a young age. He, let's keep going down here. There should be a section of early life. There you go. So his parents is a psychiatrist and a dentist. He wasn't even born, you know how certain kids, they're born into big businesses? Well, he has normal parents. He comes from a Jewish background. That helps. Let's see here. Okay, so in his college application, okay, so he spoke various languages. And then let's see, in his early years, here it goes. Zuckerberg began using computers and writing software in middle school. And his father taught him Atari basic programming in the 90s and later hired software developer David Newman to tutor him. Interesting, right? Okay, so at a young age, he's already into computers in middle school. His parents took the time to see his talent and helped him encourage that talent.
And also found the right mentors to get his
and
talent
found the right mentors. Okay, and then let's see what else. Is there anything else about him at a young age? Okay, so I think the biggest factor here was his dad, and that he was already doing computers and software in middle school. All right, so let's look at the big guy, Daniel Elk. Let's see here. Let me do another one. Okay, let's do Spiegel, who is the founder of, who is he the founder of? Evan Spiegel. There we go. Snapchat, that's right. So he is the founder of Snapchat. Let's see what he did when he was a young kid here. Early life. So his parents are lawyers. They're not business people. They're just normal parents here. He took design classes at Otis College Art and Design while still in high school, and at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena during the summer before entering Stanford. So now, as you can see, he spent some time building his passion at a young age. And then on top of that, he did internship in Red Bull. And then as a student, he worked as a paid intern in South Africa. Interesting. Let's do one more. Let's look up Holmes here. Oh.
Thing that I'm noticing with these as they were growing up, and it's very interesting to me, is that not a lot of sports or hobbies, more business driven.
Yes, business driven. The parents are involved. They're taking them to a good school. They're getting educated. Let's look at Elizabeth, because she's the youngest female billionaire. And let's look at her early age. Okay, she's a daughter of a government service worker and congressional committee staffer. She was 9 years old when Holmes and her younger brother Christian moved to Houston due to family location. She wrote a letter to her dad saying, "What I really want out of life is to discover something new, something that mankind didn't know was possible to do." And she studied Mandarin as a child, completed 3 years of summer language classes at Stanford before even graduating from high school. She was recognized for her tireless optimism and a particularly warm smile. So I got a question for you guys. What do these young billionaires have all in common, now that we know how their life is at a young age? Anyone want to care to say? Can I do this? There we go. Anybody saying?
I didn't see anybody say anything yet. Rich parents, they said.
Rich parents, okay. Structure driven, no wasted time. Anybody else?
Well,
education.
Education, yep.
Do you think their families was
I'm just curious because it didn't say in there if they actually, I mean, some said they went to regular high school and stuff like that, but I'm finding more and more homeschool children when I go to these homeschool conferences that like Ray Perry puts on. It's just amazing the brilliance that comes out of those conferences and those children that are there.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, but they all have something in common though.
Someone said computer interest, focus.
People were posting some great ones. Public to private school. They're driven. What about the parents? Do you think they had a big part?
They all have successful parents.
They all had successful parents, professionals. Okay. What qualities do they have in common? I think people were posting already that they're driven.
Their parent support, that's a good one.
Exactly. Here's some qualities that I wrote down. They were fearless. They had integrity. They were visionary. Right? They were passionate with what they're doing. They were inspirational. They wanted to help mankind. Yep, Ada.
Well, they
were risk takers. Yep, the girl had a mission at age 9. They were problem solvers. They were passionate. Yep. They were driven. I think somebody said that. So all these qualities, do you think any of those qualities are in your teens and preteens? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's what I wanted to encourage you guys, because I think as parents, we really have an opportunity to show them their big potential in life, and to not kind of ignore where their passions are, and be able to encourage it. Because look at all these amazing young billionaires. They didn't do it on their own. They really probably were guided by their parents, or some big mentor that guided them through all this. They didn't just were born to do this. They worked hard at it. You don't. All of us are business owners here. We know how hard it is to run and manage a business. So
I think the biggest key to this whole thing too is that all these people, Zuckerman from Facebook, a lot of these that you named, that girl, I can't think of her name that you just showed,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, where would they be without the internet? Would they be a billionaire? Would they be a billionaire right now? I think the internet in the last 10 years has changed the playing field so much that that's why these younger people can come in here who have vision and really attack it and really do, worldwide changes. I mean, could really make a difference because of the internet. And I think that's a huge thing. I think having those successful parents is great and everything, but without the internet, would they be billionaires as young as they were? How would that work with Facebook if you didn't have the exposure that Facebook had? You know what I mean? So
exactly,
the internet has really, and this is what you guys need to understand on this call, the internet with your children has opened up the doors for all possibilities, and any vision
infinite possibilities.
Yeah, any vision your child has right now is a great vision, and because of the internet, the reality of it could happen like an instant. You don't even know. I mean, the internet is just so powerful.
It's so powerful, and it's still new to a lot of people. And I wanted to encourage you to keep your eyes open to what your kids are passionate for. And if they have all those qualities above, and even if they have one, like, really encourage that. And then another important question I want to ask you guys is, okay, so now you're looking for those qualities in your children, and then understanding them as well once you know their character traits. And when you understand them, that's how you can motivate them for whatever it is that they want to do. John, Monica's frozen, but can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. Okay, so as long as you could hear me, I know my face is looks like I'm chewing something, but I don't know why I'm frozen here. Maybe because there's a lot of people initially typing a whole bunch of stuff.
Could be
as long as you guys
because
hear
of
me.
the phone too. I'm not sure because you're on a phone. I don't know. I can hear. I'm just kind of listening to you. I really don't need to see the picture. I just need to hear.
So the key is, okay, how do we understand and motivate our teens and preteens? And the way I started looking into Jarrell was, okay, what is it that motivates him? What kind of personality is he? And I noticed that there's actually a lot of personality style profiling systems out there. And I encourage you guys to actually do that with your kids, because then they'll actually make the dynamic of your family more exciting, and also understanding. Oh, somebody said here, Monica is on her phone. Okay, that's nothing to do with me. So understanding your kids is going to make a huge difference. So there's a couple of profile systems out there. I don't know if you guys have used the DISC system or Danny Johnson's GEMS profile. But it's great to do that as a family so you can understand everybody's motivations and personality types. So Jarrell, I know that he's motivated by money. And so I find ways for him to be competitive in that. And so it just so happened that having an e-commerce kids group motivates him to be competitive. Like, okay, I need to make more money than this kid, or I need to do this, or I need to beat, certain goals. So I catered it in a way for him to be motivated. And then if it's a kid that's more, trying to help people or have wanting to help society, then you cater it to what they're motivated for. And then another thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, who are you being through your child's eyes? Are you seeing that they're sad, or are you seeing that they have fear in their eyes? Then if so, why? Right? Who are you being in front of them? And I didn't know this, but did you know that having a family business has a higher longevity rate? So if you encourage them to be a part of your business, there's a high chance that your business will be around for a long time. You look at all these, even Walmart, I think Walmart is owned by family, right?
Yeah,
a
we
lot
have
of
a family business too. I have both of my children in the business.
Exactly. And for them to carry it on, hopefully, and grow it even bigger. What else do we have here? Anybody have questions before I keep moving on? I see a couple of questions.
We have anonymous viewer says, what's your website address for more info? Thanks. You can type that in the chat if you want.
eCommercekids.com, simple.
And I don't know if you got your video on or not. I don't know if it's frozen or if that's just your picture that went because your video is extra and you're not showing the video. I'm not sure of that.
Maybe I'll try to do another screen share, and then I'm going to stop it. Let's see if it changes. Well,
they love the picture. They love the picture with your son.
Well, maybe I could change that. Let's see. Can you see the picture of my son? There you go.
There you go.
All right, then I can move around. Woohoo! All right, so where were we at? Okay, so as far as e-commerce business, why it's amazing for them to be involved in e-commerce. Number one, I felt like it's the most simplest business out there. So simple, especially with Amazon. I mean, literally the 3-step process is go off and buy something, ship it, and then do it again. That's really our 3-step process. And the key is to be consistent at it. And what's so awesome about this 3-step process, it teaches your kids to learn discipline. It teaches them to build good habits, responsibility. So even just teaching your kids how to ship things in a box. So if you have like an 8 or 9-year-old, they love being a part of the shipping process. I don't know why. It's maybe because they like the tape and putting boxes together, putting the box and weighing it. They're natural at that. So if you have young children, get them involved in your shipping process and have them take out those stickers or put the labels on. You might have a pretty efficient worker after a while, and they're very teachable. And then another thing too, I thought was quality family time. Spending time doing this with Jarrell has probably been one of the most amazing experiences for me. Number one, I get to spend a lot of time with him, but also just seeing him grow and learn communication skills. We travel together. He's actually going to ASD with me. And a lot of my kids, actually, ASD has approved my e-commerce kids to come to ASD, which is awesome because they don't allow kids under 18 to go there. And so for them to now spend time with family and then spend time with other people and then spend time growing and traveling. So we've, traveled everywhere together in the past 2 years. It also builds character, skills, and habits, as I said before. We're actually reading this book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Oh my gosh. We try to read up to 5 books a month. It's just a statistic that I found out there that if you read 60 books a year and go to 6 conferences, that's what wealthy people do. So I figured, okay, let's follow like those little habits that wealthy people do. And so it just so happens that, books, let's start reading a bunch of books. And so that's Grant Cardone makes about $150 million a year, and he owns multiple real estate agencies and sales. I think he has a sales agency that does really well. We're actually going to go to his conference in March in Miami. And I believe Les Brown and Jay Abraham and Damon John from Card Sharks are going to be there. So I'm looking forward to talking to them about e-commerce kids. So just being exposed to something like that, and then the opportunity to excel faster in life. From just the example of the 3 young billionaires that we looked at, it obviously what they did at a young age really built the pillars for them to make better decisions in life, and also for them to map out where they want to go. Them being a billionaire just didn't happen overnight. And even though they're still young, 26, 27, 28, they were doing this business at 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. That's 15 years already of experience. And so I think it's the best time to really encourage your kids right now. Even though, you're not with e-commerce kids, you could do it on your own, just with the shipping process, with whatever they're passionate for. Have them go shopping with you, because this business, it really isn't that difficult. They'll pick it up real quick, and this might be something that they would love to do.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I have 2 grandkids from my older son, John Jr. My granddaughter Gabriella, who's I think she's 8. Hopefully I'm getting her right. And my grandson, who's 6. And I can tell you that they can label, bag, but with the best of my workers. It blows my mind what a 6-year-old not only knows about labeling, but knows where to put the label and how to put it, and to do it in a way where if we were sending a product in ourselves, like for what we do for our customers for our fulfillment center, it's unbelievable. It blows my wife's mind too when we look at our grandkids and what they can actually do at 6 and 8 years old in our fulfillment center. It just it's mind-boggling. And and they're homeschooled, both of them, and the conversations they have with you, if you closed your eyes and didn't look at them, you'd think you're talking to an adult.
Yeah. And they're so natural at technology nowadays. They know how to handle a phone, a tablet, a computer. So, I had my son going through Seller Central and an inventory lab and having him go through the process. And I think somebody just asked the question if I'm teaching Jarrell private label or wholesaling. Private label, not yet, probably next year, but he's already wholesaling. He's actually doing lead sourcing for our company. And if you guys don't know what lead sourcing, I believe we gone through the Wholesale Formula Group's course. It's an amazing course. Kids are natural at finding things online, and that's what lead sourcing is. They're just finding things on Amazon.com and just giving them the criteria, and they're really quick learners. So yes.
And lead sourcing, for you guys that don't know that's just another term for, like, when you go on Amazon, you find the main category and you drill down into it. And as you drill down into it, you kind of look and see people that bought this also bought this, and it kind of leads you down different paths. That's another way of saying lead sourcing. It just kind of
rabbit trails.
Yeah, rabbit trails is another way.
Yeah.
And those guys are great. Danny and Eric are great over there at Wholesale Formula, and what they put together with that lead sourcing. Like I said, they found a niche that works for them, and they're very, very good at it. If you guys ever get a chance to look at their course, I highly recommend that. It is pricey, but for what they do and what they put into it, it's unbelievable, the training they give you.
Let's just say that their course is so simple, my teens and preteens were understanding it. So when things are that simple, it makes it easier to create processes in our business and to understand it faster. Because everything is a process, a system, and if we could learn the system, then we're just going to make the right decisions, we're just going to follow their success, basically.
So I have a question for you, Monica.
Sure.
With your teens, like anything else, I mean, they want to continue to learn and grow and build multiple streams like what we're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
once your son has mastered the processing of what he's doing, are you teaching him at that point, okay, now you can outsource, have somebody else do it and continue to grow another stream? Are you at that point yet?
Right now he loves shopping. He does he does a lot of the RA. He could probably buy about $4,000 of product in about 4 hours. He's gotten that good. Um, and we've outsourced our shipping. So we do have a prep center out here that takes care of that. So he was originally doing a lot of the shipping. So I did graduate him from the shipping process to now the shopping process. And little by little, I'm just introducing him to certain things because I want him to still be excited about what he wants to do in this business. Because the last thing I want is for him to think that it's just redundant. I don't want him to think it's a job. I want him to know that this is his family's legacy that we're leaving for him, and that to learn it because Amazon is e-commerce business is great, but with our Amazon business is great, but e-commerce kids is even a bigger mission. It's beyond what we're doing, and seeing that we've seen firsthand kids and families change lives in the past 2 years just going through the program. And you know what's really interesting, John? I asked a couple of my younger ones, the preteens, I always tell them, okay, why has it been exciting for you to do an e-commerce business with your family? And the first thing they said, it wasn't even money. They said that the best thing that came out of their business is because they're spending more time with their mom, they're spending more time with their dad. It's because they don't get to do that often because their parents are out there working. And that was huge. It came out organically that these families are a couple of parents actually quit because their business, the e-commerce business, has been doing phenomenal for them as a family whole. So
Yeah, the quality time you get to spend with them is, you don't get that when you're working a 9-to-5 job.
huge. Yeah.
So we do have some
We got
questions.
a couple more questions. I know we got a few more minutes, right?
Yeah, we've got Kane who he asked this a little bit ago. Sorry, Kane, I wanted to get to this question for you. Do you have a group in Colorado? And if you do, we'd like to get more info on this.
We don't, not yet. Our plan is to be in every major city. But if you are a seasoned e-commerce entrepreneur, I'd love to talk to you and see if we could open one out there.
Look her up, Kane. Monica means business. She will travel to Colorado.
I got my mileage points.
Let's see. Ada says, do you teach in a class or do you all meet using the internet?
We actually, I do have, my office is a business environment. So I'm creating that culture, creating that environment for them. No, so it's not classroom. It's actually a conference room, and they come in and they mean business. I keep them accountable on things that they've done in the last 30 days, and they talk about their goals for the next 30 days.
Let's see. Looks like Kane again says, does your son have his own A to Z seller account or does he sell under your account?
He's under 18, so Amazon does not allow kids to join. However, I am in the process of talking to them because Jarrell is kind of a different scenario, and to see if I can open a separate account for him. But in the meantime, the way I keep track of his stuff is through Inventory Lab. He's a supplier. When he goes out shopping, he puts his name as a supplier under Inventory Lab, and that's how I know what products and stuff he has.
Great. I'm looking to see if there's any more questions. I'm not seeing any questions right at the moment. But I
Okay.
love what you do. I think it's a great concept to get children involved. Like I said, my granddaughter and grandson being, she's 8, right, Gabriella? Being 8 and 6, and what they're able to accomplish, and by giving them tasks that adults normally do, and watching them achieve it, it just is mind-boggling to me what kids nowadays know. It just blows my mind to see what they can do. I mean, I've never seen. I mean, we've got workers that work for us, and our grandkids can outwork them. And that's not saying that they're not good workers. It's just our grandkids, their work habits, and being around it. They've been around it now for years, and they're only 8 and 6, and like you said, they're seasoned. They already know.
They know. Yeah. It comes natural for them. And yes, let's encourage, because this just gives them an opportunity to do what they really want. If it's not e-commerce, it's something else, and it helps build their it builds good habits is the key. Because you can't run this e-commerce business without working it. And you got to repeatedly do it. And so whether you're tired or sick or not, and they could experience that at a young age. So when they get older, it's nothing to them. Hard work is nothing to them.
Ada says, if someone wants to sign up with you and lives in another state, can they still participate using the internet?
They can. However, the success factor of being physically with us is huge, because it builds that connection. So I don't mind. I do have people that do chime in via online when our masterminds come up, but the hard part is these families are not as connected with the families that actually meet. So that's the only thing that I got to figure out. And hopefully our goal is to be in every major city in the next 5 years.
That's awesome. That's just totally awesome. So, Monica, we're getting towards the end here. If anybody wants to find out more about what you're doing, or just follow you and kind of wants to just see where this all goes, and they have interest at some point in time, how do they get in contact with you? How are you reachable for the audience that's on here to be able to ask you questions, or just in general just wants to continue to follow you and wish you well in what you're doing?
No problem. I'm heavily on Facebook. I think everybody is. You could catch me on Monica Busby on Facebook, or you can catch me on Instagram. I'm also there, and eCommerce Kids is the Instagram name. And my email is monica@ecommercekids.com, or you
Are
could
you
go to
able
the website.
are you able to post that from your phone or not? I'm not sure.
Sure.
Just post those links any kind of way they can reach you, so that I want them to have the opportunity to be able to follow you and to find out more information. If I think a lot of people on this call, hopefully they do have children and can relate to what you're doing. I think what you're doing is going to make a difference for us in our future, for our kids, our grandkids, and the generation that's we all know that we live in a very volatile world right now, and we're all trying to do our best and make changes. And hopefully, I'm not going to get into political things, but hopefully we're going in that direction very soon here. And I think entrepreneurs like ourselves are making a huge difference because of the way the internet has changed, and it's giving us the ability to reach people and to help them grow their businesses, or just be there for them, someone to talk to.
Oh, there I am. Woo! Last minute here. Got my Yes, absolutely. And I encourage you to inspire them. We are their opportunity. We are their door to greater. So, I have the power to do it. So I'm glad that you guys are on and watch us. And please share this video to other parents. And for those that are willing to talk about their kids and how their kids could join e-commerce as a business. So, and thank you, John, for having me. Thank you, Ada, for catching me. And I'm sure I'll see you guys in the next conference or podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for being here. Like I said, it was a pleasure having you here. I appreciate the people that are on here listening to you. And one of the things that you said that I think is very vital is if you do know a family that you think you can help with this webinar and what Monica shared with us tonight, then it would be great to pass that on and to pay it forward to someone else and help their family as well as give them the ability to learn with the tools that Monica is sharing here. I think it's awesome. I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, I know you guys can be other places and on other webinars and things like that. I continue to bring good value in. Leaving here, I want to thank Monica. I also want to let you guys know tomorrow, give you a heads up, 3 o'clock Eastern time. I have Ryan Rieger, the founder of Private Label the Easy Way. He's going to be coming on here and sharing with you easy ways to get into private label. I'm so excited. I've worked with Ryan. He's a business partner of mine. He's working right now with Private Label the Easy Way with Jim Cochran and Jenny Hunt, and they're all working together right now and doing wonderful things. And it's really exploding because Private Label the Easy Way right now is so much easier than what you can imagine. Everybody talks about getting into private label, and it's all these hurdles and barriers that you got to jump over. And yes, there are hurdles and barriers once you start going to China and start having the product, provided to you in large quantities. Then you gotta learn those things. But private label the easy way, you can. I had what's her name? Christy Shell on the other day on one of my webinars. Excuse me, I can't talk right now. And what she's doing with Private Label the Easy Way is just mind-boggling. If you did not watch that webinar, that was such an awesome webinar, and the things that she's doing with Private Label the Easy Way. So the barrier to entry, she's doing it where she can launch a product for under $100. I mean, come on.
Wow.
There's really no risk when you're looking at launching a product for under $100. Usually private label or anything that you brand, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars to be able to get all the product that you need tested and marketed. And she's doing it for under $100. So again, what I say is, I'll leave you with this. When you go to a conference, like whenever I go to a conference, if you're the smartest person in the room, and Jim says this all the time, Jim Cochran, if you're the smartest person in the room, well, it's not a conference you should be at. Because how are you going to learn if you're the smartest person? You always want to go to places where people are as smart as you or even smarter than you, so that you continue to grow and develop as a person and help your business grow as well. And that was one of the things I took away from Jim Cochran. He's like, you can go to all these conferences, but if you go to a conference and you end up being the smartest person in the room, then what are you going to learn from that conference? I mean, there's nobody there that can teach you anything because you already have, you're the smartest one there. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. I'm just saying Jim Cochran speaks this. He speaks it loudly, saying if you're going to go to a place like that, make sure that you're going to a place where people are as talented as you and has as much knowledge as you or knows more than you. And I love going to places where I'm actually not the smart one in the room. I don't want to be the smart one, because if I'm the smart one, I'm not going to be learning what I need to learn. I'd rather walk into a room full of millionaires and billionaires and just be like, wow, be an envy, and then just pick their brains, just go and brainstorm with them. So I think that same thing with your children. When your children are doing these things, I mean, if your children know more than what their friends know, they want to be around children that are as smart as them or have different visions of them, so they can continue to grow their vision and work together. And there's no better time than being a teenager to learn how to network and do masterminding. I love what you said about masterminding and brainstorming. Having kids get together and brainstorming about future things and helping others versus being on a video game, to me, is amazing. Because our society nowadays, a lot of the kids, technology is just out there. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day that someone could get on a phone and actually text you and they're sitting next to you on a sofa. That just I never imagined that ever happening. Why would you not put the phone down and talk to them face to face? But the way society is right now with the children, they get on, and I've seen it firsthand. They'll text to each other sitting 5 feet away. It just blows my mind. But anyway, it just goes to show you where technology is and the things that we have. Now, if we take that and use that to a positive thing and use technology the way that, the founder of Facebook did and Jeff Bezos with Amazon and what he's done, then you can just see that we do have a bright future if we go in that direction.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Monica. God bless. God bless everybody that's on here.
Be awesome, guys. Be awesome.
Have a great night, and I promise next time I'm out in LA or wherever I'm at a conference, I'll make sure I look you up, because it's
all right. I'll take you to dinner.
I knew you were you were there because I was told you were there, but and hopefully you recognize me now seeing me on the camera than when I was out there,
Yeah.
but maybe you didn't. Take care.
Bye.
God bless. Thanks again so much.
Thank you.
Bye.